What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome once again to the Agents of Helm Weekly Edition. Today is our State of the Union edition. So today we will be discussing some of the topics from today's State of the Union address, as well as just kind of diving in on a few topics going around the world of entertainment and the internet so far. So before we get started, I want to introduce the rest of the agents in today. First, of course, we have Joe.
What's up, people?
And of course, Johanna.
Ahoy hoy!
And last but not least, Lorenzo. And we'll
I think
see.
I think he did sign language.
Okay.
I think he did a sign language thing.
He signed hello to everybody. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as everybody knows, today, uh, January the 19th, or January 20th, sorry, January the 20th, 2015, it was Obama's State of the Union address. So all of us got a chance to quickly watch it before we jumped on the show. That was, as a matter of fact, it was still airing when we jumped on and first started discussing it. So let's start with you, Johanna. What's your takeaways from the State of the Union address?
My takeaways from the State of the Union address were that Richard III was in fact a hunchback, and he did not have a withered arm, and he looked like kind of a nice guy, but there's no way that Bones can tell you whether he was a tyrant or not. And I'm saying all of this because I did not watch the State of the Union. Um, I think that, I also learned stuff about Viking swords, but let's not get into that right now. Um, I did not watch it. I think that it's all just like these speeches. We already know that Obama gives good speech. That's why we elected him so many years ago. I'm kind of waiting for something else. Maybe I'm a bit salty about immigration. Like, we seem to be moving forward with that, but I'm keeping, what's the word? I'm holding back, like, my optimism about that. I know he's done a lot of good things, but the last State of the Union that I watched, and not in the Richard III Viking kind of way, I really watched it. It was the same shit. It was basically him saying, like, and if Congress will let me, and if Congress will let me, and it's like, okay, I don't need to watch this. I don't need to make an event out of it. I'll just read the fucking transcript. Same thing with the immigration speech that was apparently so important to people to watch. Just read a fucking transcript. And yeah, I mean, I think that you and Malik, you were of a mind with me, minus the Viking Richard III stuff.
Yeah, it pretty much was. I mean, a lot of what happens in these State of the Union speeches, I personally I don't like it because I don't feel like it has any real. It doesn't walk away. You don't walk away with from it with any real action steps, anything that really has any concrete value. It's just a lot of pretty much a lot of what happens during the course of a presidential election campaign, which is uh, an a politician getting up on stage or getting up on a podium and promising a lot of different things. And I understand that it's all about what the plans for the future of the union are, where they are now, where they're going, and things of that sort. And I get it. I kind of understand the purpose of this thing. I just don't see the value of it unless it's followed up with action steps. So my personal feeling is that I would love for the State of the Union address to be more about what the administration has done, what they have accomplished, and furthering those accomplishments rather than talking about what they want to do. Because I think for a lot of people in this country, um, especially those of the younger generation that don't really pay attention, they may not really pay attention to what's going on in politics in Washington. They may not have any idea what the hell happens. They elect Obama to be the president. They vote him in, and on November the 5th or the 6th, after everything is tallied up, they go back to their regular lives, right? They don't really pay attention to what the hell's going on until something like the State of the Union address stops them from watching Arrow, right? So, and then they sit there and they watch it for an hour, and then
Arrow was on tonight?
no, well, the Flash.
Oh, shoot.
But I mean, it's like It's like it stops them from their regularly scheduled programming, so maybe they just sit there and watch it. And this is to me the opportunity for the president or the president to address the country and really go over like what do you guys do, and what have you actually done, rather than what you're planning, because what you're
Like a
planning.
check-in.
Yeah, it's like like a check-in. Because what you're planning, I'm probably not going to be paying attention in a week or two, or the people that just heard this thing, they're probably not going to be paying attention in a week or two until they hear that it's actually done. So my feelings on it is that it doesn't have any real action steps, it doesn't have any real value to people to our society that's looking for answers, is looking for things that are being done rather than just things that are being talked about. Joe, where do you stand on this type
Come
of
on,
stuff?
Malik. I mean, you didn't find it riveting? The president is asking Congress for authorization to use force against the Islamic State. Come on, it's compelling stuff.
He's
You gotta
asking
do
Congress.
something.
He's
I
asking
mean,
asking Congress for the opportunity to use force. Yeah, it's like asking your mom, can you slap
Hold
that
on.
kid? Kind of like that. It's like, Mom, he pushed me. Can I slap him? Like,
And that's the State of the Union in a nutshell.
come on, we got American Sniper out there. We gotta get the people behind this. Gotta get going. Islamic State, we can't let them win.
You know what I will say about America?
Again with the
Hey,
sign language.
Joe.
we can't hear you, Lorenzo.
Joe,
Yeah.
can you hear me? So
Your voice is
frustrating.
just-
You
Yeah,
I can imagine it definitely is.
especially for you,
Can you-
Lorenzo.
hear me right now? You can't.
You're breaking up badly.
Now it's in and out really badly.
What, frustrating?
You sound like Little John.
And now you're out completely. We can't hear anything. If you're talking, we can't hear anything you're saying, Lorenzo. Speak. Say something, Lorenzo.
Microphone.
What changed for Lorenzo? I'm just curious. Did anything change?
I have no idea. Unless he's not doing it. Unless you are you at home or are you someplace else? As
Because it seemed like the new year just, hurt him.
New Year, crappy connection.
Yeah, same thing.
Big Bang Theory's on. This dude's wearing an Aquaman shirt. Oh, he dropped off. All right, so I guess when he comes back, or we can just, say, yeah, Obama was talking about lifting, what was it? Lifting the trade embargo from, lifting the trade embargo with Cuba.
Yep.
And Johanna's dancing in the streets because she wants to get a Chevy 57
Yes.
and get some cigars and listen to some salsa and dance the Cuban streets.
Was it impossible to get a Chevy 57 before?
57 Chevy. I said it backwards, but it should be 57 Chevy.
Was it impossible to do before this?
No, but I mean, like, you go to Cuba and you're surrounded by these 57 Chevys, and it's like the land that time forgot, which in some ways is really depressing, but on the other hand is, appeals to my hidden hipster,
My thing is, why couldn't they just go to Japan and be like, hey, send us some cars? Well, I mean,
but people can't afford them.
You didn't have to go through America for that. You just say, hey.
I mean, the way that I've always perceived of Cuba is that it's kind of like a closed loop system. Like the only things that are really coming in some ways are remittances from people. Or, I mean, in the case, I have a cousin from El Salvador, so he didn't do it illegally, who went to medical school in Cuba and worked for Doctors Without Borders. So I guess they're also getting people from places like El Salvador, which are still able to, send people over and get visas or whatever. And they're sort of like producing all of these doctors, is my impression, in Latin America.
What's Cuba's biggest export? Do you know?
Rays of like communist.
No, I was gonna say baseball players, but
baseball players.
baseball players is the biggest export. Illegal export, because they all escape. I was sad to learn, on the serious note, I was sad to learn that I remember, Malik, I was telling you earlier today, I was like, man, Fidel, tried out for the Washington Senators, and I was reading a story prior to this podcast that an article stating that story was not true. All these years, I mean, we're talking like 20 years, I've been believing this story. He actually tried out for a Major League Baseball team and was not accepted or didn't make it, and then went back to Cuba and became a dictator. So I was sad to learn that story is not true, according to this article.
Like Hitler and the painting. He was a frustrated painter, and he could not make it as one, so he became a Nazi and stuff.
So he started the Nazi Party. Wow.
Yeah.
Is that not true too?
I think it's...
Yeah, but aren't some of his paintings, didn't some of his paintings go on sale somewhere before?
Well, I'm sure after the fact.
Once he becomes Hitler, you can't not...
Yeah. Now it's worth something.
I don't give a damn if it's worth something or not. If Hitler gives me a painting, I don't give a damn if he drew two stick figures on a piece of paper. I'm putting it up I'm putting it up in my gallery because Hitler did it.
This guy killed millions of people.
What do you think he does to me when I tell him no, he can't hang up that picture?
Mine's Fiora.
Exactly. No, Hitler gets his painting up on the wall. I don't give a damn. Hitler could have once he's gotten into power. Whatever you want, dude. Just leave me and my family alone. Just don't hurt me.
See the lost Hitler paintings. Let's look that up. It's kind of like National Treasure, but in Germany, right?
The lost Hitler paintings, Joe. You're literally gonna have the.
I mean, I'm sure they were.
In about 60 seconds, the FBI is gonna come knocking.
Oh wow.
Joe's house.
They're not as shitty as I thought they would be. I thought they would be like crappy motel flowers.
No, he's drawing like the trees and shit.
They're kind of like pretty. I mean, they're not like crazy works of art. Oh, there's one with a rainbow in it. Oh boy. There's one of a field.
He wasn't such a bad guy after all.
And rainbows. Holy potatoes.
See?
Why are you guys talking about rainbows?
Because Hitler painted rainbows. He was a great guy, I guess.
I mean, some of it is very like Volk,
We didn't know the real Hitler.
There's lots of pictures of like the mountains. Because we were talking about Fidel Castro and about how we all believed that he had tried out for baseball, and he in fact did not. He was not in fact a frustrated
pitcher.
Yeah.
Hitler had how their major export is baseball players. I really don't think that's true.
It was a joke.
Well, but I think that it's important to remember that there's a lot we don't know about Cuba.
Okay, well, to that point, I think Joe, you were gonna intro the Cuba part, and then coming out of the State of the Union address. So I guess find a way to intro that so that we can cut out all of this stuff.
Are we gonna cut all that out? Okay. Anyway, All right. So yeah, part of the State of the Union address, uh, Obama did bring up lifting the trade embargo with Cuba. So I know that excites you, Johanna,
Yeah.
because you want to get in that '57 Chevy and do some salsa in Cuba and get a cigar while you're at it.
Drink a cigar. Look at me, smoke a cigar, eat some congri. Like, I mean, this is gonna be awesome. This trip that I have imagined in my head to Cuba that is still not kind of possible as of yet. No, I think it'll be really interesting to see, this island, this country that has sort of not been able to progress past a certain period, and just being able to talk to the people about their experiences, and then also, yes, salsa dance and look at old cars and just sit on the beach and smoke a cigar. I don't even know how to smoke a cigar, but I'll learn. Now that the trade embargo might be lifting, I will learn and I will smoke one every week.
Now imagine the tourism that this is gonna bring up. Maybe we're gonna have like a reverse swim. Like people are gonna swim from Miami to Cuba. Maybe something like that'll happen. Or they'll have like boat tours. Like, they'll turn it into something fun. Hey, let's have the annual swim to Miami extravaganza, whatever you want to call it.
Oh my God. Do you guys remember?
We should buy property in Cuba, guys. I bet you that it's going to go up really fast.
Yeah, if you guys want to go on vacay now, you better go on vacay now. Because I'm sure
we just buy like a plot of land.
The agent's land and like build a little house like as a vacation home.
I think just hold on to it until we have additional funds, or we can sell it for a lot more money.
I'm liking the way you're thinking.
Cuba is blowing up.
Yep, we'll be the Cuban hipsters.
Cuba is going to blow up. It's so close. It's gonna be like the Why are you guys so quiet? People are going to be going back to Cuba, like, quiet.
We can't hear you.
Because we can't hear you. You're breaking up badly.
Ernest Hemingway did.
Drop again?
Oh, yeah, To Have and to Have Not. That's one of my favorite Hemingway books. Like, totally.
Hear me at all?
Yes. Maybe. It's something about running rum or some shit. Like, it's about, like, Ernest Hemingway or something. There's a movie. I don't really remember the plot of the book, but I remember that it was really cool, and for a long time was the only Hemingway that I really liked. I think it still might be my favorite Hemingway. I didn't really like the one about the bullfighting and the one about the chick with the dude. Like, I wasn't really into that. So... yeah, Cuba, running rum.
Yeah, or what's his face? Johnny Depp played him.
Oh God.
Rum Diary.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah, it was Hunter S. Thompson.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah,
he was in Puerto Rico in that movie, wasn't he? Oh.
Cute.
Well, I mean, as far as like, me wanting to go to Cuba, I never really. No, I mean, as far as me wanting to go to Cuba, outside of what Obama said, I mean, I never really had any kind of aspirations like you guys had about, riding in a '57 Chevy or or smoking a Cuban cigar. I mean, I don't, cigar is a cigar. I don't particularly like the taste of cigar smoke or cigarette smoke for that matter. I don't know what the difference would be for a Cuban. So I don't think I'd find the value in that, but I got a few words, a few things that remind me as to why I want to go to Cuba. And those are Eva Mendes, Rosario Dawson, Christina Milian, Daisy Fuentes, Genesis Rodriguez, Seriously, Cuban women are freaking beautiful. I just want to go there and take pictures and see them. I want to see
Yeah,
them.
I like me some
So
Genesis Rodriguez.
You mean
we have been getting because of this embargo, we can't go down there. So we've been getting like sprinkled and spackled with a couple of beautiful Cuban women all around, in Hollywood. Um, this is like this is the factory, okay? So this is where they come from. So let's just go down there
the
and just
factory?
take a look. I mean, I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of guys going down there to try to do something else. I mean, look, I can't
Yeah,
I can't afford another wife at this moment, so it's that's just not going to happen. But I'm just going to go down there and take some pictures and just enjoy myself down there and see this factory of beautiful women and these beaches and just another place to go where there's beaches and women and everything. So,
So
I want to go down.
you're going on a lady safari.
No, well, yes. What other safari is there? I don't really think there's any others to go to.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm sure there's plenty for the women to see because William Levy's Cuban as well, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of guys. I ain't going.
yeah. I know you're not going. I'm just saying the women out there who are listening. Hey, there's plenty for you to see there as well.
Exactly.
See, if I go, I want to go with Gloria Estefan because I know we could live it up over there.
Yeah.
Hang out with Gloria Estefan and
Hey, does
Cuba. Bring Andy
Anybody
Garcia
have a
too.
problem with?
With what, Lorenzo?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep. No, not okay, but we can hear you. Just go ahead and
Yeah.
talk. You said, does anybody have a problem with what?
Whole lifting of the embargo. I mean, does anybody have a good reason why it's been going on so long? Why
There's
it's a
a
better?
there's a there's a very large political bloc of Cubans and Cuban Americans whose parents were exiles, and they just don't think that we should be trading with a country that is a dictatorship that has just done terrible things to its people. Which, I mean, we've also done terrible. I mean, lots of other places have done terrible things to their people, but the difference is that there's just this huge block, like political block of Cuban American politicians. And so like Marco Rubio, for example, who are really are the ones who are pushing back about this whole like lifting of the trade embargo, even the lifting of some of the travel restrictions. So those are, I think, like that block is really what's like pushing back on this whole thing.
Yeah, it's crazy because China is just as
Precisely.
bad, right? I mean,
Precisely.
we plenty of other countries that are dictatorships or it's a dictator.
Yeah.
It's funny because it defeats us to call, what do we call them by? Or, what else is going on in the world, guys?
No, what were you going to say, Johanna? I'm sorry. Just go ahead and finish your statement.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that. I mean, just to agree with Lorenzo that there's just so many countries that do terrible things to their people, and of course, if we could, if we wanted to, we should, sanction and embargo all of them, but we don't. There's also, of course, this whole idea that Cuba's only 90 miles away, and the reason that we isolated them in the first place is this Monroe Doctrine, Cold War fear. They are the only country that we really haven't been able to kind of subjugate to, the University of Chicago economical architects or any of these other kind of economical trade agreements, any of that stuff that have kind of beholden certain countries to us or have linked them to us in a way that's really disadvantageous. They're really the only ones. Now, of course, there's Evo Morales, there's Hugo Chavez, but like the OG has been Cuba. So the fear is lifting all these embargoes and kind of removing that isolation from them might cause other places to elect leaders who believe in more autonomy from the United States, like Evo Morales or Hugo Chavez, who's now dead. So I think that's the other fear on the other side. There's the voting bloc, there's this political bloc, and then there's also this fear left over from the Cold War. Mm-hmm. And I majored in Latin American history, so that's sorry.
No, that's great. I mean, you have a very, very different perspective on all of this, and that's why we're here to just delve into as much as we possibly can. So, outside of the State of the Union, is there what other stories do we want to touch on today with regards to what's going on in the world of media?
Yeah, in the world, you guys are telling me about the preparation for Miss Universe, and how there was an uproar about that.
Oh yeah, so Joe, we'll let you take that.
Turmoil amid the Miss Universe pageant. Very troublesome, very troublesome. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but Miss Lebanon and Miss Israel took a selfie together. It's big news. It's big news. It's big news, guys. It's very big news in Lebanon since they pretty much had Miss Lebanon issue a statement for taking this picture, saying that that accusing Miss Israel of photobombing a picture that she had taken with because I believe the other two contestants were in there were Miss Slovenia, right, and one other. It was in another country. So there's 4 women in the picture, and that Miss Israel had photobombed them. And according to Miss Israel, she's like, hey, we're just trying to have fun here. Why can't we just put aside our differences for the day or for the competition and just have a good time? So, yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't even know why this is news. But unfortunately, there are some people interested. Donald Trump issued a statement about it. I mean...
Well, Donald Trump's probably dating one of them, right?
No, Donald Trump is actually... he's on the board of the... He runs all that pageant stuff.
Yeah.
Which means he will eventually be dating one of them. Donald Trump is a CV old man that likes to date 20-somethings. So I'm pretty sure he's got his eye on either Lebanon or Israel, one of the two.
Well, I think, if it is, it's going to be one of his side chicks because I think he is married, right?
He's married for like the 80th time.
Yeah, he's married, but he'll have a side Miss Universe chick, right?
Exactly.
And they all kind of look the same, so I don't know what marriage he's on, frankly.
Exactly.
Hey, Joe.
Yep.
Can you explain exactly why is there such an uproar between with Lebanon just because they took a selfie together? Like, what is that about?
Well, the two countries hate each other.
But why?
I mean, this goes back thousands of years. Because one is
But it's specifically in Lebanon, or is it?
It's Lebanon and Israel. They've never gotten along. The Palestinians
What
and
does
Israel.
that mean? Like why
what do you mean? What does it mean?
Like what's like? It's just crazy.
It just is.
But it's crazy to be like that with a whole country. Where I mean, that's just ridiculous. Don't you think?
Yeah, they have certain religious differences and
right. I mean, so there are a lot of
here,
people, but they don't freak out about it as much as those guys do, and I get so tired of the whole thing, and to see this happen, at Miss Universe pageant where two people can't even take a selfie together without it being a big deal, it's very disturbing about those, like it says it's like leaves a bad taste in my mouth about humanity in general.
Wow, you're like really serious today, man.
Yeah, I think it's the not being able to talk that well.
Oh.
So when he says something, it has to be very profound.
Gotta be poignant, exactly.
Exactly.
Why can't we, like the song said, why can't we all just be friends? Fortunately, for thousands of years, they have not been able to be friends.
But isn't that fucking just unreasonable?
Yeah, well, many presidents have tried to resolve this conflict.
Yeah.
And many have died trying to resolve this conflict, and
Ridiculous. To me,
it's going to go on and on and on.
To me, they both believe the exact same thing. They just, describe it differently in their books.
Well, I think and I forget which one is which. Didn't one of them was forced out of Israel, right? So they're both fighting for the land.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fighting for the
I
land.
think everybody's forced out.
Yeah, each side believes that land belongs to them, and so I believe that that's what they're fighting over. Somebody will probably write in and accuse me. Hey, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Please correct me. Again, I'm trying to just go off the top of my head, but this stuff has been lasted a long time.
No, yeah, I know it has. It just makes me so frustrated sometimes, and this story just reminds me of that frustration. I just feel like both of them are such dicks sometimes, where they just just Palestine and in that whole area, those guys are jerks, but Israel is like such a jerk sometimes. Like I don't know. Israel can be a bunch of jerks, and I know America can be a bunch of jerks, but we don't like the people aren't like that. There's nowhere where it's like we can't appreciate the people that live in that country, as individuals. Is there?
Well,
can you think of a place where you hold all the people accountable?
Think about the Soviet Union, and imagine. Well, first of all, there would be no Miss Universe, but imagine that the United States and the Soviet Union took a selfie together. If there'd be a similar
in the 80s, when at the height of the Cold War.
I don't know if that's even the height of the Cold War. I would even say something like the 60s, possibly the 70s, because then after that you kind of get into détente and so. Oh, I also minored in Russian history.
Yeah, but then the arms race was all in the early 80s, and Gorbachev and all these guys. We were
but
racing against each other.
But the arms race was really about the U.S. overpowering the Soviet Union.
Right.
I'm thinking more about the social and cultural height of it, which was 60s. So imagine the 60s come around. You've got these beautiful curvy ladies in their, vintage bathing suits, and two of the Soviet Union one and the American one take a selfie together. And I think there would probably be a similar
similar reaction. I don't know. If they were at the Olympics or something, and they took a selfie. If they had selfies back then, I don't think people would freak out. They would just say, "Oh, it's two individuals from different places, offering each other some sign of peace." That's what you offer everybody. You're supposed to offer everybody peace. Peace be with you. That's the basic thing that you should try to offer people.
All right, Lorenzo, back in the 1800s, your ancestors, if they were in Texas and they were taking pictures with Davy Crockett, would it be okay?
He's not telling lies.
Would that be okay?
Or
if they were at some sporting, if they were at a church to get together.
Yeah, I don't think it would matter any event.
Okay for them.
Well, to Lorenzo's
okay.
point, sports competition generally brings. It's usually the equalizer. It's usually the thing that brings people together in some kind of a common ground. So maybe just the opportunity.
Have you ever watched a soccer match?
People
kill each other.
That's during the match. But I'm just saying, in general speak. You watch if you watch the World Cup this year. There were some fights, or so there was obviously some loudness going on. But for the most part, sporting events and competition the focus is not supposed to be on those things, those reasons why these countries don't like each other. The focus is supposed to be on the competition between these two individuals representing their nation, and that's what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah, I mean,
Things like that. So I can see Lorenzo's point from that perspective. I think for me particularly, when you're talking about these two countries that have generations of just conflict and hatred of one another, to expect first off to expect these countries to be okay with these images being plastered is a little bit I don't think that's realistic. But then also for those countries to expect that these 20-something-year-old girls, in a pageant, um, should be thinking about those nationalist views over the fact that they're trying to win this pageant and they're trying to, be, good little, good little pageantress, pageant girls, that this is the thing that they should be worrying about, that this is the thing that they would be worrying about. I think that that's also unrealistic. So, the selfie, whatever. I don't really care. Most of us should not care about it. It shouldn't really matter. I get why people complain, but it really, in the grand scheme of things, it shouldn't. It doesn't change anything. It won't change the fighting. It won't change the fighting. It won't cause a ceasefire in that area. So it's and again, so is it really worth talking about? Not really sure.
after we spent the last 10 minutes talking about it.
No, I mean for them to be arguing about it. Like we
No,
can.
yeah, no. I mean, I agree. Don't get me wrong. I agree that they should be able to go to the pageant and not even worry about that stuff. But unfortunately, it just doesn't happen that way. Especially when they represent two countries that hate each other, and there are going to be those people who see that picture and they're like, why the hell is, on each side, well, why the hell are they smiling, having a good time? Why is she choking the bitch or something? You know what I mean?
Hey,
So
Joe,
it just gets crazy.
Joe, speaking of choking, Malik, weren't you telling us about some crazy fight?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, speaking of ironic situations or situations where fights, where things are supposed to happen, and fights break out. So I recently just came across a story of the R&B artist August Alsina. Um, so it's pronounced August, the month, and Alsina, Alsina, getting into a fight backstage at a anti-violence concert over the weekend. So apparently TMZ has a bunch of video and images of this guy who I guess was accosted, or he was somebody messed with him. I think there was the promoter of the concert because he showed up late to the concert. Um, and because of that, or due to that, he got into a fight. I just found the irony of the situation extremely interesting, given that it was an anti-violence concert, and we're fighting at these anti-violence concerts, just to show once again that the obviously the purpose and the reason why they've all come together is completely lost on those individuals, and when people get mad, this is the type of shit that goes down. So yeah, it was just a very interesting story. It took place in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, St. Louis.
What do you have any more details on what the fight was actually about?
I mean, it doesn't. The article that I'm reading, and one of the article I'm reading is from Complex.com. It doesn't really go into too much detail in regards to what started it. It just says that the artist August Alsina performed at an anti-violence themed concert this weekend in St. Louis, where an altercation between the artist and the show's promoter broke out backstage. And of course, TMZ being ever present, uh, they obtained footage of the incident. Obviously, they paid for somebody to give them their camera footage, which shows August and his crew arguing with the promoters before the eventual fight, where August, the artist, is seen kicking seen on camera kicking a man on the ground during.
Oh man.
So, yeah, and August Alsina, just to give a quick overview of the person. I mean, I think he's pretty much a crooner. Like he's like one of these crooning artists. Like he's a singer. Not,
What does he have a popular song? I've never heard of. What's his song? What's his...
what's he well known for? I mean, he's a young artist. He's signed with Def Jam, and I mean, he's definitely on one of those bad boy R&B tips.
He's known
Go ahead,
for
Mary.
Like Punch Like Gandhi, something like that, or
No Love. That's his song, which kind of makes sense, you guys.
No Love for
for the
Nonviolence?
concert
No-
promoter.
No
Yeah.
Love for Nonviolence.
I mean, he's done a few things. He's got a few albums that have been out that he's done, and he's been nominated for BET awards. He's gotten BET awards for people. Okay, he's gotten some BET.
I
awards.
mean, obviously legitimate, and
Of course, absolutely, that legitimizes everybody. I think we're nominated for one this year.
Was he involved in anything like the Source Awards?
Oh, back in the,
Are you still trying to figure out who he is,
Back
Joe?
in the-
Let it go, man.
I mean, Joe, if he was involved in any of that stuff, he was like 4. Okay, he's 22 years old. He's a young kid, young stupid kid that just got himself caught up in a stupid situation at probably the worst possible location that you could possibly be at getting into a fight at a anti-violence concert is probably the definition of stupidity.
I think he needs to listen to one of these old jams called Self Destruction. He needs to listen to that song and get with the program.
That's exactly where he's heading.
That's pretty much sums up the entirety of our show. Like, honestly speaking, self-destruction is all about the decisions that we make and how they can lead to good or bad results, and where we're all headed. And some people may think that that's where this country is headed, and based off of the State of the Union, they have no reason to think otherwise. Some people may think the state of Lebanon and Israel is exactly where the world is headed, and a selfie between two women is not going to change that. And some people may think that young black musicians just pretty much find ways to fuck their situations up on a regular basis, and they are headed for self-destruction. So, if that song pretty much sums up everything that we've talked about tonight, and definitely makes sense when you put it in that perspective, Joe.
Because we're headed for self-destruction. Headed for self-destruction.
well, this is quite a cheery note to end on.
Absolutely. Well, we'll end here. So everybody, I hope you guys get a chance. Go do what Johanna says to do. Just go read the transcripts of the State of the Union address. Take a look at what Obama said. Don't look for a video of it. It's really not interesting. It's just Obama standing on stage showing that he needs a lot of Just for Men. He needs some Just for Men. I remember this young Obama up there on stage. I remember Obama from 2008 when he was up on the stage. And
It's the job, Malik. It's the job.
Yeah.
It's making them gray.
It's 2015. It's 2015. Okay, if there's all these guys can get Just for Men and freaking Rogaine and maintain their youth in a little bit of a way, Obama should be able to show this shit ain't bothering me. Okay, get a little Just for Men, get rid of the gray, and he's lost a little weight too. He doesn't seem to be he's not eating,
Saw that basketball, man.
It's
That
the
basketball
hope
is
and
playing.
change eating him from inside out.
Yeah.
Well, he's changing, all right. But if you get a chance, go ahead, read the transcripts of the State of the Union. Check out TMZ.com. You can go and check out some of the craziness going on with the world of Hollywood and see why August Alsina got into this fight. You can feel free to Google or take a look at any of the stories that we've talked about tonight. Stay tuned for a new episode of our podcast. We'll be releasing some really soon.
It's going to be Joe's episode.
We're releasing Joe's
That's right.
episode, and then we'll be releasing Johanna's episode very soon after that, and then we'll be recording another episode later on this week. So we've got a lot of content coming to you guys in a very short period of time. So be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, feel free to hit us up on iTunes. iTunes. You can leave us a comment on one of our shows. You can send us a message to agentsofhelm@gmail.com. Visit our website, agentsofhelm.com, or like us on Facebook, Twitter. Send us a message, and we will definitely be sure to respond back. So without further ado, for Joe, Johanna, and Lorenzo, I am Malik. We are the Agents of Helm. Have a great night. Enjoy your week, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace out.
Hey, Malik.
What's
I just wanted to just quickly explain that throughout the night you might hear some weird audio hiccups, and it is because my microphone and connection is bad. So I just wanted to explain that to the people at home.
It's amazing that at the very end of the show you are
Yeah, exactly.
going through like
This is Lorenzo Gate.
But we can fix it
Somebody's
in post.
tampering with the microphone.
Yeah.
we can fix it in post, absolutely.
Yeah. No last word.
Well, thanks, Lorenzo. Thanks for that. Thanks for closing it out like that.
Oh no. I'm gonna like put it just like that. Like after you say goodbye, then like maybe a disclaimer will come on.
Maybe we should put the disclaimer on at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let me rephrase it. Tonight you may hear some hiccups in the show, and it's because I was having trouble with my microphone. I don't know if people at home realize this or not, but the four of us are nowhere near each other. Well, we're close to each other. We're in the same greater New York area, but we're all in different boroughs, right?
That's right.
No, Malik and I are in the same borough.
That's true. But I feel like somehow it's different.
Oh,
Anyway, so yeah, we're a ways away from each other. We do it all on Google Hangouts, and sometimes it works, and sometimes we have some problems. And tonight we have a few technical glitches, but I think that the show still it turns out to be great. So you should enjoy it. Do you have anything to add to that, Malik?
No, you sound so much better right now.
Yeah, right at the end of the show.
We should just do the show over. What do you say, guys?
No.
All right, cool. Well, I said my piece.
Cool. You can just edit it to the front. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would you all think? How did it go? I mean, it was kind of annoying for me. It was real frustrating